let's put things into perspective a little bit here. Right, the council are complaining about my garage there. See the top of it there? They're complaining about that ruining the you know, the look and things of the area with my house, right? Okay. Now, if I turn around, I've never really done this, but if I turn around, I've got Knowsley Vale ABC, basically a boxing club across the road. Now, that doesn't look like it was built in 1703. It's a converted old church. It's got bits of wooden roofing and felt on the top, and it's built out of brick, probably from the 1980s construction, right? Next door I've got council flats. Again, I'm not complaining about any of these things, but at the end of the day, there are council flats next door with UPVC windows, right? They're there. My garage is hidden behind the wall there. Low roof, so it doesn't obstruct or obstruct light for anyone else around the area. That's why it's got a low pitch roof, so it doesn't block light and it's not visible. It's not sticking out and jumping in your face, right? And there's the house. I come out and I walk round the corner. Got that little bungalow over there, quite nice, no complaints about that. Used to be a large pond just over there where the pigs from the pig farm just around this corner here used to come over and swim in the pond just under their house. That was in the 1940s anyway. Right, round here we've got the Fantail pub. Again, I'm not complaining about this. This is Kirkby. My house is pretty much blocked from view by all these trees. Now, these trees weren't here in 1960. There was no real need to have all these trees here in 1960 to block Kirkby House, because Kirkby didn't actually exist in 1960. Well, not in the same way as it is now anyway. So we got the Fantail pub, William Hills, and really nicely blended in with flat roofing and barbed wire is the old farmhouse from 1668. Now you can see they've tried to do it in sort of stages here. Again, I've got no complaint about it, but they're complaining about my garage, which isn't in view. And we've got the house here. This is the former council rent office, Kirkby Council Rent Office. Now, it was Kirkby Council that actually put these additions on. See, they started off with some sandstone blockwork at the side, and then eventually merged it into brickwork. They put flat roofing on with bits of angle iron on and barbed wire. All flat roofing there. It really blends in well with the roof of the old farmhouse, doesn't it? You know, they really did a good job. And then all of a sudden it jumps into William Hill. Bookmakers. As I say, I've not got a problem with this. This is why I got the house for the price I did. You know, it's in Kirkby. But for them to come along and complain about a garage which isn't in view and insist that I pull it down is really taking the piss. Again, where's my garage from here? Can't see it. No, can't see it. What do I see? If I come around here, say it was Kirkby Council. Alright, it was before Knowsley Council. But Knowsley Council, the way the law stands, is that if there's something wrong that's causing a problem to a listed building, then it's Kirkby Council who have the right, or potentially are supposed to, do enforcement notices to put things correct. Now, I'm not pushing this issue, but when you come around here, this is what Kirkby Council did to this old listed building here. Again, it's going to be a grade 2 listed building. They put up all these walls around the back with anti-vandal things on, and they put this big iron gate on with these anti-vandal things on. I'm going to show you an aerial photograph of what they also did. They built a gym around the back of here, and they built a garage for youth training scheme, YTS. All this was done by Kirkby Council on the back of a listed building, and it is very much attached to the listed building. Right, these are garages which are for the houses, flats and so on around there. Say, there is what Kirkby Council did to a listed building. All this flat roof work. Do you think to complain about my garage is slightly taking the piss? Because I do. It's taking the piss to the nth degree, taking the piss by infinity. You know. I say, I'm not complaining about this. Why would I? It's not my property. I don't even drive down here. It's just like Knowsley Council. The people of Knowsley Council probably don't even live in Knowsley. They may do, but they probably don't live around here. You know, the building's quite nice. If you stand here, it's alright. The present owner of this has actually put these railings up. He had to fight Knowsley Council to be allowed to put these railings up, because without the railings, it had a wall here, and the kids were all sitting on the wall, and so on, and he didn't like that. He wanted a little bit of you know, he didn't want the kids just sitting on the wall and then climbing in and walking around his garden. Why would you? So he's put this railing up. If I look out my upstairs rear window, this is what I see. I see Kirkby. I see pebble-dashed council houses with tiled roofs and UPVC windows. I see flat roof garages just over there. I see a flat roof plastic carport. I see conservatories sort of just over there, but when the leaves aren't on the tree you can see them better. I see plastic conservatories. Another plastic UPVC conservatory over there. If I look, let's see, I see green metal door on the rear of the fence over there, someone's entrance. I see other green metal doors over that way. You know, yeah, okay, I see my garage, but you know, it's in the rear end of my garden. It's not on proper listed curtilage land. Basically from that tree just down there, sort of where that plastic crummy table is that I'm going to be getting rid of, from that table there across to sort of this pear tree here, if you drew a line between those 2 points, all the land behind that is where a bakery premises used to stand. So it's not on listed property. Everything this side is listed property. So that's including this area here, you know. So I've repaired the old wall, which is down over there. Got more pointing to do on it and so on, but it's coming on. It's looking better than it was when I moved in. Garden's looking fairly tidy. Now this fencing that you see down here and these posts, these are what my legal team have advised me to put in. They're basically about 7 foot high willow fencing and posts, and I'm planting apple trees on the far side of them, several apple trees, and on this side I'm planting hawthorn hedging, which is similar to what's in next door. Not very nice stuff really, damn prickly, but yeah, I think I've got my side of the property quite nice. I'm starting to accept the fencing, although I do sort of prefer it all open plan, but it gives a little bit of privacy, the screening fence, I suppose, and I'd probably even live with the hedges when it goes up. So, you know, I'm looking after the place, keeping it tidy. I've actually got plans for doing a bit of screening myself, to screen off Kirkby to some degree. Not that I really have an issue about it. You know, people, you know, it's their houses. I don't give a damn what they do in their gardens, just like they don't give a damn what I do in mine. They've got no problem with me having my garage, like I've got no problem with well, the guy next door having a garden full of weeds, the other fellas having you know, garages. What the hell's it to me? Nothing. They've got no grumbles with me, I've got no grumbles with them. So what's the issue? None as far as I'm concerned. But I have got several trees down there in pots, little conifers, and I'm going to be planning on planting a few of those along the fence line. I haven't worked out exact spot, a few feet into my property's line I would think, just so that it doesn't cause problems. Yeah, all should be okay. See, I don't give a damn about the pebble dashed houses. If I look out the window in my living room here, right? So this is my living room. This is the only ground floor window I've got which actually looks out back over the garden, right? If I move these curtains away, right, there's my view, right? So basically from here, where the garage is stood, previous to the garage being there, I had a view of grass, wooden fences and council houses. As I said, I didn't have a view of the Yorkshire moors, didn't have valleys of Wales or mountains of Scotland. I had a patch of grass, a fence, well, a lot of fencing, and council houses. Yeah, so you'll also see that up on top of my garage there's the solar panels. Again, really, what's the issue? If I stare at those solar panels, I'm also staring at council houses with UPVC windows. So, yeah, you know what do you understand where I'm coming from here? You know, I'm going to offer to actually take down the little bit of walling on the front of my garage and put bricks in, if they want bricks. If they seem to be obsessed with bricks, the council. I've actually gone over that wall. Oh, sorry, my hands are shaking because my nerves have gone. I've actually gone over those little bit of wall sections and made them sandstone colour to blend in with a lot of the colouring of the house, because I thought it was more respectful to the house than just having some modern bricks stuck on it. I could have actually got a brick effect for the garage, but I thought it looked so ugly and didn't want to entertain it. You'll also notice, if you can see, there's my well. You can just about see it still through the screen fencing. You know, this fencing is like, it's to cause like a boundary line. By the time all the hedges and the trees have all grown, I'll hardly see the garage, which is a shame because I've spent a lot of money on building that, and it's nice to be able to keep an eye on it. But I suppose this is more a case of punishing me, I suppose. If I build something, then my punishment is not being allowed to see it unless I actually walk down the garden and stand on the other side of the fence. You know, the public can't see this view from anywhere. My neighbour can see it from his upstairs window, but he's got no complaints about it. In fact, he's told me on a few occasions he'd love to have one in his garden. I suppose that's another one of the problems the council have. They certainly don't want other people to also want them. Yeah. I'm just a loss for words, really. This is a listed building just by the M58 in the Gulf. It's basically a farm building, and the barn, which is to the rear of the building, you can see is from the last century, the 1900s. The same as my garage construction would have been to the rear of my house. Now you can see that the roofing material is actually most likely asbestos type concrete mix. So that is the same sort of stuff as my garage roof was made out of. And as I say, corrugated asbestos roofing is very similar to what's on my garage now. Mine is concrete corrugated, and I've picked a black colour corrugated so that from a distance it would look like slates. Okay, I'm in the garage. Been in here loads of times, haven't we? Seriously, it's not that big. Once you're in here, I've got the tank here, I've got the Jeep, I've got a workshop area down one side which is 6 foot wide, that over there. Then I've got this area which is another, say, 6 foot wide area, which is, okay, it looks like it's full of crap, but it's all parts and stuff, like bits of timber which I've been using on the house. I'm slowly reducing the amount of timber I've got here because a lot of the jobs on the house are now done. I've got these lovely wood panels here which I acquired, and they might be going on the house. Now, if I don't have a garage like this, these lovely wooden panels would probably be stuffed out in the rain, together with lots of my other stuff. You know, I've got in those sort of blue and red and white bags there, they're new tracks to go on the tank. For when I've got time, I'm changing the tracks over, then those tracks are being sold. But unless I've got a bit of space to store various bits and bobs, I've got tyres for one of my vehicles up in the back corner with a tarpaulin over it. I've got my ladder for working on the house. I've got my anti-tank gun down here, my M3. You know, an anvil which needs a mount making for. I've got my lathe, pillar drill, you know, shelving, paint. It's not bloody huge. I'm sure there's people with garages far bigger than this who've got less land than I have. Yeah. What's that? What's that you said? Mayor? No, I don't think the mayor's coming. No, he's not coming to open my garage. It's already been opened by me. Anyway, yeah, so look at the roof. The solar panels stick over a little bit over this side. It's the only way they would go on. They were a little bit bigger than I expected and didn't fit neatly on one side. You know. Anyway, corrugated concrete roofing. Yeah. Now, if we go over here, we're now crossing the invisible boundary that runs across here into another plot of land. Right, so we're going from non-listed land here, non-listed curtilage, and then I put my foot here and I'm on listed land. Right, okay, so if we wander over here on our listed land, if I start digging in the ground, I'll start finding bits of the old roof. Now, rather than me going and starting any more digging, if I come round here, there's loads of it. There you go. Asbestos roofing. So basically all the old garages which used to stand here on this concrete were roofed in asbestos. Yeah, there's piles of it. Because when I was digging the footings for these fence posts, I kept hitting it, and it was quite hard to dig through with a spade. You had to. There's actually sheets of it under the ground, and I suppose that's stopping the weeds growing. Well, weeds growing, yeah. Okay, it's not stopping weeds, but it's stopping trees. More than these trees are actually just weeds which have been allowed to grow since the garages were pulled down. Now, here's a nice piece of asbestos. It's got actual blue tinge to it, see? That's the nice healthy blue asbestos type stuff. Lovely. Must taste nice, that. Anyway, say loads of it kicking about. Oh, we're about to cross the invisible boundary again. Right, I'm not in listed property. Oh, there's my garage. It's not in listed property. Well, there you are. I'm going back across, back in the listed. Right, there's a nice little pile of asbestos roofing which I've been picking up and dumping on this table, all ready to show the listed building inspector, who believes that a palace once stood here, I think. I actually asked if I could build a replica coach house in this vicinity here, but got turned down. And now that's what they're saying I can build, I suspect. But, you know, the time to have said yes was 2 years ago, not 2 years later, after I've had 6 million no's and had to do my own thing and put this up on the non-listed part of the garden where a bakery used to stand. Okay? So here's all my fencing going up. What's that, Stella? You're not used to the lambs? You'll get used to them. Yeah, they're quite silent, the lambs, you know. Anyway, so this is my fencing I'm putting up. But I've started putting it up, but I've since been told that I've done it wrong and it needs to be nearly ½ a metre taller. Stella! 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 Oh, don't go! That's lambs for you. They just run in, chase cats off. You want to go for a run? Come on. I want to go for a run. Come on. Woo. They love to chase. Come on, back over the other side. One of my favourite tricks is, woo, what's that, guys? They love a bit of ivy. If I can snap a nice piece of ivy off. Oh, not quite good enough. Let's see. Get a nice stretch. That's not too bad. Woo! Try to trip me up. Go on, over here in the sun. Alright, you've won it, there you are. As the song says, little lambs love little lambs eat ivy. It's called an ivy frenzy. This is Larry. Isn't he beautiful? Aren't you beautiful, Larry? Yes, he knows he is. Yes. Just likes a good rub. Do you like a rub better than the ivy, eh? Yeah? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave them two. I'm gonna go and edit some video. It's all just so crazy. It's just so crazy.